I think there are a couple things why immigration really is something that we, myself, my family, are passionate about. Like pretty much every American, we are a family of immigrants. I personally am an immigrant, was born overseas, moved to the United States when I was 7. So I think the value of immigration to this country is fantastic. We live it in our everyday life. We see what it does. We see what coming to America has meant for our family. And I think that everybody needs to realize we are a country of immigrants, and welcoming immigrants here is very, very important. We're just a multi-ethnic community, Lafayette, West Lafayette. There are a number of immigrant families all around. Because it's a Purdue community, most of the immigrants are professionals. But this opened my eyes to the people who are trying to get the correct immigration paperwork done, but may not have the resources of a big university behind them to say, we need this person. So it was really eye-opening, one, that you're able to tell the story of immigrants in this community, and two, the services that you're really giving those people to help get to the right point. My understanding of the process is that it has now become an intense burden of paperwork on the person who is seeking to become an immigrant or seeking to become a citizen. So we know a number of families through the community who have done that either themselves, for their parents, for a number of different situations, and just the amount of getting the paperwork correct is unbelievable. So if you're in a situation where you can do that very easily, that's great, or if you can hire attorneys to do that, that's great, or if your university hires somebody because they need you, that's fantastic, but not everybody can do that. So when you're in that situation that you need somebody to help you, that's my understanding and my belief where the LUM Immigration Clinic is absolutely fantastic. Able to work through that paperwork, make sure things are done correctly, make sure that all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted, and that is so important. And I think really in the last year or 2 years that's become even more important, because instead of perhaps welcoming immigrants, we now seem to be saying, wait, let's make sure it's all correct. So you need an advocate there to push correctly so that you're able to get this paperwork done, which is a very intensive process. As you think about the process, it's long, it's arduous, notwithstanding kind of the financial impact of having to go through all of that, but it is fairly emotional. There are interviews, there are papers, there are lots of different things, and there are little hurdles here and there. Having somebody advocate, promote, push, that you can really get through that, I think is incredibly important, because it gives you a sense that you actually, or the person who's trying to become an immigrant or a citizen, is actually really wanted here. This is a process about proactively helping people, and I think that's really important. You need to believe that there's a value in immigrants in this country. And I think once you get to that point, then I think it's incumbent on many of us who are immigrants ourselves, who are proud to be immigrants, that we need to help people achieve their goals. And this is a very tangible way that you can help somebody achieve their goals.
So a couple of years ago, a very dear and close friend of mine was doing a lot of studying. She would tell me, I'm so busy, I'm studying this immigration paperwork. And I didn't exactly understand what she was talking about, because she had been in the US for many years. She had done schoolwork here, she had settled, she had raised her children, and I was like, I wonder what she's doing. Why is she spending so much intense time on this immigration issue? And I think part of it was because she was seeing a very significant change in tide about what US society was thinking about immigrants and about immigration, and it became a very important issue for her. So I kind of asked her a little bit, more questions about what she was doing, and she said, I'm studying to become an immigration counselor, and I'm going to be doing this through Lafayette Urban Ministry. My involvement became a little bit stronger, and I was asked if I could interview and photograph 3 different groups of people who have been actually helped by the immigration clinic. And that was really where I think it solidified and strengthened my desire to help LUM. I was able to photograph a young couple who were able to get married because she received her citizenship. She had come over from Mexico, and she was a dreamer, so one of the DACA recipients, but she really wanted to get married and needed that type of legal help in order to pave her way to being able to do that. And then the other two groups were two families, and one family had 3 children, the other family had 4. We spent the day walking around downtown Lafayette, taking pictures, talking to them, and these people were some of the most sincere and truly dedicated people to becoming good citizens in the US, and all they needed was help. They really just needed somebody to guide them and to tell them and show them what paperwork needed to be done. And that was, it was very emotional. It was an extremely emotional day, just hearing their stories, and also hearing that there was a certain degree of suffering in their past. They needed to leave the countries in which they were from. They were either being persecuted or treated unfairly or had to deal with criminals. And so they thought that by coming to the US, they would have a safer life. They would be able to provide safety and comfort and education for their children, which is something that, whether you're an immigrant or not, is really important to us as Americans. And all they needed to do was to have that pathway to become legal citizens.